Live from New Bedford, ladies and gentlemen, this is the YouTube channel vlog show of authenticity, inspiration, and realness. Also, of good times, personality, and fun. This is Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. And now, here's your host of the show. He is Big Beefy E. He is Mr. Shenanigans and the elder statesman of the Rant and Rave podcast, Mr. Eric M. Lima. Thank you very much, Mr. Announcer, sir. Welcome to yet another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans 1977. This is episode 1674. How's it going, everybody? Today I want to talk about my assessment on this, the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. As you know, it came out yesterday digitally. As you know, the physical copy, the physical version will be coming out November 22nd. That's in a couple of months, which I've already pre-ordered for that. So I got both bases covered, shall we say. And I want to talk to you a little about what's like playing these games on a Nintendo console. Because as you know, all these games you see here on my shirt was the first time all of them have been on a Nintendo console. The Punisher was still in the arcades, but never saw. I think with the exception of the Sega Genesis, but like a watered down version of it, never saw any other consoles. X-Men Children of the Atom was on the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Saturn. Marvel Superheroes, PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn. X-Men vs. Street Fighter, PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn, both the American and Japanese versions of Sega Saturn. Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, PlayStation 1 and the Sega Saturn as well. And both versions, the American and Japanese version of the Sega Saturn. Marvel vs. Capcom 1 on the PlayStation 1 and the Sega Dreamcast. And Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was on the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 was on the PlayStation 2, Xbox, the original Xbox, old school Xbox, and the Sega Dreamcast. Bearing that in mind, what's it like playing all these games on a Nintendo console? You know, a lot of people don't recommend the Joy-Cons to play them. I tried playing with the Joy-Cons while watching the screen. It is an insane thing. I took a lot of pictures thanks to the screenshots that you can be able to do on your computer on the Switch. I try to get some good pictures in. I played all these games, and the controls are a bit of a challenge, but I realized the Joy-Cons are not the best recommended for controls of the game. No big deal, because God bless my parents. They gave me a couple of arcade sticks for the Nintendo Switch. And they got it off my Amazon wish list for Christmas. So I got those two. I got the Chun-Li version. I got the Ryu version. The Ryu version is bigger. And so I think I'm probably going to utilize the Chun-Li version. So that's something. Now also I got the controller that looks like the Sega Saturn controller. Like a new version of the Sega Saturn controller. When the original Capcom Fighting Collection came out, that controller was available, so it's recommended for that. So I got that. I haven't used any of the controllers yet. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to work on a couple of things before I get the Shenanigans Arcade back up and running. And like I said, the Joy-Cons are a bit of a challenge. But I try. When you play these games, like I said, it's a little different on the Nintendo console. And as you know, because when these games came out, Nintendo was still on Super Nintendo mode at the time. In fact, when Super Nintendo was these three games. Now, the Punisher never saw a console release except for the Sega Genesis, but that was a watered down version of it. I'm probably still thinking about getting that. And you got X-Men, Children of the Atom, and Marvel Superheroes. They were like 90. I think it was 94 and 95, and Nintendo was still in Super Nintendo mode. From X-Men vs. Street Fighter down to Marvel vs. Capcom 2, Nintendo was in N64 GameCube mode. So you have that. So you have that. It's a big It's a big deal. Like I said, this is probably the biggest deal ever. Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Everybody wants to play online play. Wouldn't dare to challenge anybody for an online play as of yet, unless they challenge me. But you know, I gotta be careful how I open up my mouth a couple of times. So there's that. Overall, I like the game. You know, obviously, and listen, it is not every day. This happens. You know, this has happened. Now it actually happens. People are wishing for it to happen. They want to see all these games on modern day consoles. Now it is fun. And then the Xbox, you Xbox guys, Xbox folks, I have an Xbox One. Still have yet to hook it up. But it's finally coming to the Xbox next year. So that's you guys are going to have to wait a year longer. You know, for us waiting for the physical copies, we're going to have to wait a couple of months. No big deal. It'll be a lot of fun. I think once everybody gets the controls for the Switch down pat and everything else, I think people will probably take the Switch on the go, possibly get together for the holiday season. Hey, bring your Switch, bring the Marvel vs. Capcom Fight Collection. We'll have a tournament among cousins and all that. It'll be a whole lot of fun. And I'm really excited about it. And yeah, my assessment of the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, 9 out of 10 for me. Like I say, the controls are a bit of a challenge, but you know what? As a gamer, and you get to choose. You get the for the versus games, you can choose your secret characters. That's the fun part, right out of the gate. You know, you can choose how you want to pick your secret character. Easy mode. You know, you want to include Noromaru for Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. I can't believe he's going to be in the game. So it is insane to have that happen. I haven't done that yet. When it comes, you can go to the game settings and see what you want, and you can trigger it all and stuff. It is insane how it works, and just it is something to behold. You can easily pick your hyper combo, that type of deal, and just puts a smile on my face to see these games out for the Nintendo Switch. And like I said, Nintendo Switch to me is the best console ever. You want to bring, it's like your portable, to me it's like a portable arcade machine, and these were arcade classics. And look, where is it now? There it is. Here it is. Yeah, arcade classics right here too. I personally cannot wait to get the physical copy of Marvel vs. Capcom Fight Collection, so I can take a picture of me holding both copies wearing this shirt, man. You see, yeah, Capcom has really been cooking this year, and then we get the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 next year. We don't know when that's going to come out next year. We know we don't have a release date for that. But like I said, I'm not as hyped for it as I am for the original Capcom Fighting Collection. I mean, you had the Darkstalkers games and Red Earth. That was like you could have put the Capcom versus SNK games in there. I think they're trying to do it in a chronological order. Are we going to see a Capcom beat 'em up bundle too? Are we going to see like Alien vs Predator, Calyx and Dinosaurs, Dungeons and Dragons, Tower of Doom, Shadow over Mystara? Will we see Final Fight 1 and 2? And not Final Fight 1 and 2. Final Fight 2 and 3 is part of that Capcom beat 'em up bundle. 2. Will they come out with a Capcom beat 'em up bundle 2? Will they have a physical version of it? I don't know. But one thing's for sure, though, however, we'll have a Capcom Arcade Stadium 3. That's another thing as well. So that's it. And I think because with all these games coming out, I think we might see a Capcom Arcade Stadium 3. I got a hunch that could be it. And if they get Calyx and Dinosaurs, Marvel vs. Capcom, and Slam Masters 2, Ring of Destruction, I love to see that. But we shall see what it's up to Capcom and all the other folks that have royalties to some of these games and all. So we shall see. But right now, let's Capcom cook one thing at a time here. You got the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection off and running to a great start. And not only that, you got also Capcom Fighting Collection 2 in the works. Possibly pretty soon coming out. Pretty soon, in the new year, we'll see what happens there. And also, like I said, anything is possible at this rate. At this point in time, a lot of people are hyped up. There's some people that are hyped up about it, the second version of Capcom Fighting Collection 2, because of the fact that Power Stone games are in. I've never played Power Stone. I wasn't a fan of 3D fighting games like a Tekken. I don't hate on Tekken. I'm not going to hate on Tekken or any other of these games, but I like Virtua Fighter and all that because like I said, I've always preferred to me my personal preference always been the 2D fighting versions of the game. And even though Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 is like, I think it's 2D with 3D graphics, which is pretty cool. You see that they've evolved with the 2D fighting game. I'll go for that. It is a shocker. Final Fight Revenge. Will we have a? Maybe they're saving it up for a Final Fight collection. That's another thing too, because we haven't seen Final Fight 2 or 3 yet on the Nintendo Switch, even though we're a part of the Super NES. And then we get Final Fight Revenge that never saw a regular console except for the Japanese Sega Saturn. And if you're trying to find a Final Fight Revenge, it's expensive, especially on eBay. So that's the big thing. So overall, like I said, my assessment of the Rant and Rave podcast, not Rave, got that on the brain now. Man, my assessment of the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, write that one down. Oh man, it's like I have to deal with everything being a member of Rant and Rave podcast. Let's say. Now, in my assessment of the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, it's a 9.5 out of 10 for me. I'm going to give it a point because the fact is, like I said, the controls are a little bit of a challenge, but, like I said, also, possibly my gameplay is a little rusty. So, my gameplay's got to be a little bit rusty, and that could be something that I'll probably work on. And then once I get going, I'll probably, get a game going and possibly have a lot of fun with it. And that's the most important thing ever. It's a really exciting moments, really exciting times. And, as far as gaming is concerned, and yes, the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, really excited about it. And I personally cannot wait for the physical copy to come out and I get my hands on it. I'm going to actually say, this is what I'm keeping, and just, you don't have to worry about it, digitally anymore. It's like, okay, physically, you're in, you have everything connected, and it just puts a smile on my face to see these games finally being played on all these, this collection of games being on a Nintendo console, and whatever, because Capcom now, Nintendo, I have every Nintendo console there is. And here's the crazy part about the whole thing is that now I got, I got possibly the ultimate Nintendo console and the Nintendo Switch. I don't know why they want to upgrade Nintendo Switch 2. Nintendo Switch 1 right now, so to speak, the regular Nintendo Switch is the ultimate console, man. And just amazing. It is amazing about how everything develops. It's just crazy, It's, once I get that physical copy, I'm not getting rid of it. I'm holding on to it for a long time. You know what I mean? So yeah, 9.5 out of 10 for me for the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. I want to keep playing it to tinker with it a little bit more, see what I can come up with and everything else, and hopefully one day I'll probably be back as the listen, I beat X-Men vs. Street Fighter was the first arcade game I beat. All right, all the other games I beat were on console. All right, then there was Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, and I couldn't beat Marvel vs. Capcom 1 because Onslaught was pretty tough, but then Marvel vs. Capcom 2 I beaten. So you're talking about the first 3 arcade games I beaten were X-Men vs. Street Fighter, Marvel Superheroes vs. Street Fighter, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And like I said, the rest of the games I beat were on console, and that really excites me, you know what I mean? So it's going to be pretty good. So I'm really excited about it. Don't know about you. It's going to be really cool, and I'm personally looking forward to playing more of these games, and like I said, I would love to see a Capcom Beat 'em Up Bundle 2 or a Capcom Arcade Stadium 3, whether it's with games like like Alien vs. Predator, Cadillacs and Dinosaurs, Ring of Destruction, Slam Masters 2. You got the Dungeons and Dragons game, Shadow over Mystara, and Tower of Doom. It's 5 right there. Final Fight 2 and 3 as well. They should see. I don't know why it was taking Final Fight 2 and 3 so long to have them on. What's taking Capcom so long? Will they see a Final Fight collection? Maybe a Final Fight trilogy, if you think about it. Or is Capcom planning on upgrading the graphics for Final Fight 2 and 3? I know they're trying. Data East is trying to do a Night Slashers remake, but I'm keeping the old one on until they do that remake as well. So it's something. I don't know what's the story on that. So, and there are a lot of people doing a lot of games, and like I said, we got 3 months left of 2024. And like I said, 2 of those months, in 2 months, we'll get the physical copy of the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection. Really looking forward to getting that. Yeah. So. Yeah, 9.5 out of 10 is a really great series, and if you're, if you're a retro gamer and you play these games in the arcade for the very first time, you miss these games in the arcades. Well, guess what? You can play them on your Nintendo Switch or your PlayStation 4, and next year your Xbox One, So yeah, it's gonna be an awesome series as well. Always look forward to it. I know this is my personal preference. Like I said, my personal rating of it, 9.5 out of 10. As a retro gamer, you gotta love it. Let's see what else. Yeah, that's all. I'm trying to look around here and see if anything else. I am a Capcom fighting freak, and Capcom makes some of the best. The 90s was the best year for Capcom games. The 90s were. And I'm going to hold that to this day. That's all I got to say. So, that's all the time we have on the show. Coming up next will be the SmackDown season premiere on the USA Network. It will kick off with a steel cage match for the WWE Championship. Cody Rhodes defending his Solo Sikoa. I suspect big things are going down. And this is going to be crazy, It is Friday the 13th, so crazy things could happen here, So, yeah. So I'm really excited. So, I will see you guys later. You guys have a wonderful day. And have a blessed day. And until the next episode comes rolling around, Mr. Announcer, take us home. That is all for today's episode. This is your announcer speaking for Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. A Big Beefy E, doing for Bob Saget Productions, and in association with a Raven Bofa Telepictures and Distribution. Thank you for watching today's episode. Tune in next time for another episode of Eric Lima Shenanigans of 1977. Goodbye for now.